Well, guys, it's the end of an era. I know I'm a few days late on this because I was trying to picture how would the WWE move forward without their centerpiece in John Cena. Of course, John Cena left for Hollywood many years ago, but every other now and then, he would come back to the WWE when the time is right, especially with the big pay-per-views such as WrestleMania and SummerSlam, two of which he headlined for many years. As we all know, John Cena just wrestled his last match in a crushing defeat by Gunther on Saturday night's main event in DC, in which Cena tapped out just the fifth or sixth time in his WWE career. That defeat left 19,000 plus in attendance shocked and dead silent, or even in other cases upset. Nonetheless, this marks an end of an era that spanned for 3 decades, as Cena rides off to the sunset in the pursuit of the ventures. As there are many GOATs in the WWE, in my opinion, I believe Cena will go down as the greatest of all time in my book. Argue with me if you want to. I've been a pro wrestling fan for 20 years. I can't name any other wrestler that was more relatable and close to me than John Cena. I could wait to watch him every Monday night on Raw when I got the chance to, or even when he made appearances on SmackDown. He really lived by the phrase, if you want some, come get some. Because he can go toe to toe with almost anyone in that very locker room. Whether he was a face, or whether he was a heel with his basic thugonomics gimmick, he was always available to take on anyone who steps up to him. He's a highly well-respected individual, a rarity that's in the locker room and in the backstage area. Whereas in many years, with certain wrestlers, the locker room and the backstage area could either make or break somebody's career, as there's a lot of red tape that comes behind the scenes rather than in front of the stage or in the ring itself outside. Cena has to be one of the toughest wrestlers in WWE history. Of course, it doesn't look like it from his gimmick that he had for many years, but his in-ring work says otherwise. His in-ring work, along with his skills at cutting promos from the use of his days of being a rapper, was quite enough for him to be world champion. He was one of the fewest WWE talents to have zero issues with anyone, whether it's the employers or the other employees that he surrounded himself with. When it came to rivalries, this was nothing new for Cena, as every rivalry he had was pure cinema, and he was always one step ahead of his rivals. He had rivalries with the likes of Edge, Randy Orton, of course, JBL, The Rock, Brock Lesnar, as well as my favorite, Batista. And to me, that rivalry between both of them was so underappreciated that the matches both of these guys had between late 2009 to mid 2010 had a lot of firepower on both sides. Particularly with the 3 pay-per-view stretch starting off with WrestleMania 26, Extreme Rules, and Over the Limit in 2010. Was literally everything between Cena and Batista, in which that storyline revolved around the WWE Championship. When Cena won it fair and square, and Batista complained so much about losing by not keeping up with Cena and asked for rematches back-to-back, and lost both of those at Extreme Rules in a Last Man Standing match, and at Over the Limit in an I Quit match in which John Cena AA'd him from off the stage into the floor. And that led to Batista actually leaving the WWE until his initial return in 2014. Although it may sound off topic, but I think that the John Cena-Batista rivalry for me, that was one of my best rivalries from John Cena. It was so underrated. To wrap this up, I'm going to say this. Thank you, Cena. I guess we can all see you now, after we couldn't see you for so many years. You're one of my favorite pro wrestlers, past or present, in the WWE and beyond the pro wrestling industry. Cena has accomplished more than what I thought of an average WWE talent's resume. He's a 17-time world champion. He's won the WWE Championship 14 times and the World Heavyweight Championship, the original World Heavyweight Championship, that is, 3 times. He's a 5-time United States champion, a 4-time tag team champion, the Intercontinental Champion, in which that was the very first time he has won that belt in his career. He's a 2-time Royal Rumble winner, 2012 Money in the Bank winner, the 35th Triple Crown champion, and the 18th Grand Slam champion in 23 years. He's done it all. He's done everything he wanted to do in his 23-year run in the WWE. Of course, he has a huge following. And he's been in the face of the WWE for a very long time. And if the Hall of Fame induction was to be held at this moment in time, he would be an automatic lock. The energy that John Cena brought into this business cannot be replicated by anyone else. His energy was unmatched, like no other. I'm going to go ahead and give you my take on John Cena's farewell tour. I'm going to go ahead and rate this a flat out 4. I mean, his farewell tour could have went better than how the way it was drawn up by Triple H. There was a lot of miscommunications and a lot of storylines that were unresolved during his farewell tour run. I also believe that John Cena turning heel at Elimination Chamber at that point really bombed this entire experience during the spring-summer stretch, because he spent so many years being a face that it was hard to like him as a heel during that time. And I said this in one of my wrestling videos earlier this year. I said Cena turning heel at this moment in time would ruin his WWE career. In which it didn't. Of course, it's pro wrestling, it's scripted and all that. But him turning heel at that point really didn't make any sense. It just made the February tour unbearable than what it should have been. The only things they got right was Cena winning the WWE Championship one last time and winning the Intercontinental Championship for the very first time. Also, people are still talking about the match at Saturday night's main event last Saturday. Having Cena lose his retirement match to Gunther is all what I need to know that this retirement tour was nothing short of eye-popping. I believe John Cena could have had a better opponent than Gunther. If I can remember, there were numerous rumors that said that Obafemi wanted to be John Cena's final opponent, in which I believe that he should have been his final opponent. That would have been a great match. But we already knew for so many months on end during his farewell tour that Gunther was going to be his last opponent. So that's how the way that was drawn up by Triple H. And I believe after this, many people are probably going to stop watching the WWE product that Triple H is dishing out, because they treated John Cena so horribly during his farewell tour run. That's going to be it for this wrestling edition of the Eli Speaks Show. Yeah, the last time is over. John Cena calls it a career, and he is slated to make his first non-wrestling appearance a couple of days after this. I'm going to say it again. John Cena, in my book, will go down as the greatest of all time. Although, there are already so many GOATs in the WWE. But John Cena is the premier GOAT. It's going to be weird not hearing Cena's name for years to come, because he was so synonymous with the company. And now that he's gone, they will have to pick up the pieces on where he left off from for another wrestler to be the face of this company. Of course, Cody Rhodes is now the new face of the WWE, but I don't think he's ready to be that face yet, because he has a huge target on his back. But that's a whole nother conversation, and that's a whole nother episode. I'll do one about that in the future. In the meantime, as always, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for listening.